It was late October, the kind of night where the wind seemed to whisper secrets through the dead branches of the forest. A group of four college friends, James, Lily, Connor, and Sarah, were driving down a lonely country road in Pennsylvania. They weren't looking for trouble, not exactly. What they wanted was a thrill, something to break the monotony of campus life. James had discovered an article about an abandoned asylum called Ashwood, sealed shut since the 1960s, after a series of unsolved disappearances. Locals never spoke about it. The few who did would lower their voices, as if afraid the asylum itself was listening. That night, curiosity got the better of them. As they pulled off the road, their headlights caught the broken iron gates of the asylum, half buried in weeds. A faded sign dangled in the wind, its letters barely readable. Ashwood Sanatorium closed permanently. Lily shivered. This feels wrong. Look at the place, it doesn't want us here. Connor smirked. It's just an old building, Lil. Nothing more. Don't tell me you believe those ghost stories. Even Sarah, who rarely scared, admitted there was something strange about the way the wind stopped the moment they stepped out of the car. Almost as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Inside, the asylum was a tomb of silence. Their torches cut through thick dust, lighting up cracked walls scribbled with graffiti, rusted hospital beds and doors that seemed to sigh when pushed open. James laughed nervously. See? Just rot and decay. No ghosts, no demons, just a big empty building. But then they heard it, a faint tapping sound coming from somewhere deeper in the asylum. Tap. 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 It was slow, deliberate, like someone drumming their fingernails against metal. Maybe an animal, Sarah whispered, but her voice shook. The group followed the sound down a long corridor lined with patient rooms. On one of the doors, they noticed fresh scratches, as if someone, or something, had clawed at it recently. Connor pressed his ear against the door. Silence. Then, a whisper. Not loud, not clear, but enough to make him jerk back, pale as snow. What did it say? Lily asked. He shook his head. I don't know. It wasn't English. The tapping started again, louder this time, but now it wasn't just tapping, it was footsteps. Slow, heavy, echoing through the corridor. Guys, Sarah whispered, we're not alone. James forced a laugh, though his voice cracked. Probably another explorer. Or a squatter. Let's just... The footsteps stopped. All at once, the overhead lights flickered, once, twice, before plunging the corridor into darkness. Their flashlights sputtered, as if drained by some unseen force. And then, from the far end of the hall, a figure appeared. It was tall, too tall to be human, its body thin like stretched skin over bones. Its face was nothing but shadow, but its eyes, two pale, glowing orbs, locked onto them. Lily screamed. The figure didn't move. It just stood there, watching, waiting. James raised his flashlight, but when the beam hit the end of the corridor, the figure was gone. But the whisper... That whisper was closer now, right behind them. They spun around, nothing, just empty walls, broken tiles, peeling paint. But Sarah swore she felt something brush against her arm. Cold, wet, like a hand dragging along her skin. The group bolted, running back toward the entrance. But when they turned the corner, the door was gone. The same hallway stretched endlessly in both directions, looping back on itself as if the asylum had shifted, rearranged. No, Lily cried, pounding on the walls. This isn't real. This isn't real. But Ashwood was real, and it had them now. That night, only one of them would make it out alive, and even they would never be the same again. Because Ashwood doesn't let go of its visitors, it keeps them, forever.
To the basement of Ashwood, the group stood frozen in that endless hallway, their breaths shallow, their hearts racing. The asylum wasn't just old walls and rusted doors. It was alive, and it was playing with them. Connor pulled out his phone, trying to call for help, but the screen glitched, flashing static before going black. No signal, he muttered. His voice trembling, Sarah pointed toward a staircase leading downward. Basements usually have another exit. We need to try. Every instinct screamed at them not to go down, but with the asylum shifting and the front door gone, it was the only choice they had left. The basement smelled of damp concrete, mold, and something else, something metallic. Blood. The dim light of their flashlights revealed old gurneys lined against the walls, straps still attached, as if waiting for patients who never left. Rusty medical tools lay scattered across the floor. Scalpels, clamps, needles. Some of them weren't rusty at all. Fresh, gleaming, as if someone had used them recently. A low humming began to echo from deeper inside the basement. It wasn't mechanical. It sounded human, like someone softly humming a lullaby. The sound grew louder with every step they took, vibrating in their bones, shaking their teeth. They reached a door at the far end of the hallway. Painted across it in faded red letters was one word: stay. James hesitated. Maybe we shouldn't. The door swung open on its own. The room beyond was vast, lit only by a single swinging bulb. In the center of the room stood an old operating table. Straps hung loose at its sides, but the stains on the metal told the story of what it had seen. The humming stopped. For a long moment, there was silence. Then something moved in the shadows. A figure stepped forward. It was wearing a doctor's coat, though the fabric was shredded, hanging in strips. Its face was hidden behind an old surgical mask, yellowed with age, but its eyes, those same glowing, unnatural orbs, pierced through the darkness. "Welcome back," it whispered, though its mouth never moved. Sarah screamed and stumbled backward. The figure raised a hand, long and skeletal, and pointed directly at her. The doors slammed shut behind them. The light bulb overhead flickered violently. On the walls around them, shapes began to appear. Not drawings, not shadows, but faces, hundreds of them pressed into the concrete, their mouths opening in silent screams. Lily collapsed to the ground, covering her ears. "Make it stop. Please make it stop." But the screams weren't in the air. They were inside their heads.